Hi everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this Hear Center video. My name is Josephine. I'm an audiometrist at Hear Center, and today we're going to be talking about speech, language, hearing, and your child. Initially, when we offered this presentation live, we marketed it as something that would go over milestones in depth. And while we will be discussing milestones, really this is more of a general presentation that covers some of the more basic concepts in speech, language, and hearing. As Hear Center continues to do our live Zoom presentations, the audience-free recorded version will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube, such as this one. Please subscribe so you can keep up with all of our future speech and hearing uploads, which are sure to be helpful. So right now, you're on part 2 of our speech, hearing, and your child presentation, where we'll discuss some basic milestones about speech, language, and hearing from birth to age 5. Part 1 went over some basic terms and concepts in those areas, so check out that video if you haven't seen it yet. Part 3 will discuss frequently asked questions related to speech, language, and hearing, and ends with Hear Center services available to your child or a child you know. Before we get started, I just want to, again, reemphasize that this information is pretty general, and it's going to be geared towards those who don't really know about speech, language, and hearing development. A lot of the articles we used to put this presentation together were from ASHA. ASHA is the organization that's responsible for credentialing language and speech and hearing professionals in the US. We found that their articles were general and informative enough without being too complicated. Although this may not be the most comprehensive guide, we hope it's a good starting point for you as you learn more about speech, language, and hearing development. So Hear Center is a nonprofit speech and hearing clinic in Pasadena, California, where it's our mission to offer comprehensive speech and hearing services to those of all ages. Since 1954, we have offered speech therapy, audiology, hearing aids, and hearing protection to those in the Pasadena area, the San Gabriel Valley, Los Angeles, and surrounding cities. Although we really enjoy helping our clients, something that really brings us joy too is our community outreach. We would not be able to offer you these free program presentations without the help of our funders, members, and community. So we are really grateful for all the support that's been given to us. How can we see that our children are developing their speech, language, and hearing skills on track? We look at milestones. This section primarily addresses those who are monolingual, but there are some notes on dual language learning and bilingualism that I will address later in the presentation. So we're looking at milestones from birth to age 5 because children develop their language skills at an amazing rate during this time. Their brains become so complex as they grow physically, emotionally, socially, and with language. So when we look at typical or normal development, the range of normal is very wide. Why? Well, it's because children simply do not develop the same skills at the same time. Children come into their development at their own rates. Please remember that all children go through the same stages, but it is hard to know exactly when they will reach each stage. All children have different experiences, lifestyles, and factors that shape their language and development. So comparing your child to another child can sometimes lead to unnecessary stress. But at the end of the day, you know your child best. If something feels off, then it's okay to get a second opinion. But you don't need to get fixated on milestones, if they're missing 1 or 2 skills. That's okay. But let's say you notice that they're missing a lot of skills, then okay, then it could be okay to get a second opinion. So from birth to 3 months, from the moment babies are born, they come into the world already communicating with us. They say, "I'm here, help me." And at this young age, they're trying to develop secure connections with mom or caregiver. At this age, babies should startle at loud sounds, quiet or smile when you talk, and seems to recognize your voice. They quiet their crying if they hear you speak. Talking, in the talking category, babies will make cooing sounds, and they may cry differently depending on what they need at the time. So if they're hungry, they need to change their diaper, they're sleepy, and they're able to smile at people. This is a way of nonverbal communication. At 3 to 6 months, babies will move their heads towards sound in their environment. They notice that toys make noise, and they pay attention to music. They also respond to changes in the tone of your voice. When they communicate with you verbally, they now can babble in addition to cooing. They can make speech-like babbling sounds such as pa, ba, or me. And they giggle and laugh, as well as make sounds when they're happy or upset. At 6 to 9 months, babies will listen when they're spoken to. They respond to their name, and they understand the word no. When they babble now, there's different intonation patterns, such as baba, mama. I'm sorry, those are the babbling can turn into like 2-syllable babbling, such as baba, mama, with rising and falling intonation patterns. So that's just like baba, mama. At 9 to 12 months, At 9 to 12 months, you'll notice really how far children have come in their language development. They turn and look towards sounds in the environment. They look when you point. They understand that pointing is a way to indicate direction. They understand names for common items. And they begin to respond to simple words and phrases such as no, come here, and want more. They like to play games with you, and they listen to songs and stories for short periods of time. When they talk, they can babble long strings now, like me, me, up, ba, 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 ba. They use sound and gestures to get and keep your attention. They can point to objects and show them to others, and they can imitate different speech sounds, as well as say 1 or 2 words like hi, dada, mama, uh-oh. This usually happens around their first birthday, like them being able to say 1 or 2 words, but the sounds may not be super clear. At 12 to 18 months, children should be able to follow simple one-step commands such as get the ball, and they can recognize pictures of familiar people and objects. They should be able to speak in one-word utterances, use jargon, which is kind of like babbling that sounds like speech but not quite, and they should have a vocabulary bank of about 3 to 20 or more words. Because they are so young at this age, speech errors should be expected. So at 2 to 3 years old, 18 to 24 months. So at this age, children should really begin to enjoy stories. They can list a few body parts. If you point to their body, they can say arm or leg. They can follow simple directions that have the words in or on, so put that inside or put that on there. They can respond to simple questions. They start to use a lot of new words, and when they speak, they're understandable about 25 to 50% of the time. They may start to ask some W questions like, what's that? Who's that? Or where's Kitty? With the 2-word phrases, they can put 2 words together like more apple, no bed, or mommy book. So now 2 to 3 years, you might notice that children are having a lot more to say during this time. Children understand opposites like go, stop, big, little, and up, down. They're able to follow 2-part directions such as get the spoon and put it on the chair or on the table. They understand new words quickly. When they talk, they seem to have a word for almost everything, and they have the capability now to talk about things that aren't in the room. They can use 2 to 4 word phrases. Their speech is understood about 50 to 75% of the time, and they ask, Why? A lot. They can also use words like in, on, or under. At 3 to 4 years old, you might notice that children, it's getting harder to keep up with them. There's a lot of development that's going on physically and developmentally. So at this age, children can respond to you when you call their name from another room. They understand some words for some basic colors, shapes, and family members. They understand how objects work, and they can follow 2 to 3 part commands. When they speak, you can understand them about 80% of the time, and they can ask and answer simple who, what, where, when, and how questions. They can use pronouns like I, you, me, and they, and they know how to they know how to use plural words, so like toys, birds, and buses. They can put four words together and make some mistakes. It's okay. They might say, I goed to school instead of I went to school, or I go to school. They like to talk about, stuff that happened in their day, so they're able to participate in conversations longer at this age. At 4 to 5 years old, you'll really start to see just how far children have come in their language development. They can understand words for order and time, such as first, next, and last, as well as yesterday, today, and tomorrow. They can follow multi-step directions, such as put your pajamas on, brush your teeth, pick out a book, and then go to bed, or we'll go to bed. And they can hear and understand most of what is heard at home and school. At this age, you can understand them mostly all of the time, and they may make some speech sounds, but they may make some mistakes, but they should be able to say all speech sounds. This is normal because some speech sounds won't be mastered until they're about 5 to 7 years old. They can talk for much longer in many different ways. They can have different kinds of conversations with you, and when they speak, their sentences are mostly grammatically correct. They can also tell a short story if you ask them to. So that was a lot of information. If you'd like more clarification and information on these milestones, I'm going to link a couple of resources in the description box below that you can look through if you want more information, because I was just reading off a list of milestones, but I think these resources can give you more of an in-depth look that gives you more context. Just for the sake of the length of this presentation, I wanted to keep it a bit more brief, so I recommend that you look through those if you would like more clarification. So yeah, those guidelines, there was a lot that we covered, and maybe parents, something caught your eye. Even if your child is over 5 years old, you can still use these milestones, because the general rule of thumb is that by age 5, whatever skills we saw in the previous slides, they should have sort of mastered it or be able to have done that at that age. So if your child is older and you notice some issues, then that could indicate that something might be wrong. Teachers or staff, maybe you noticed it. Maybe these milestones made you think of a child who could be struggling with certain skills. Could they maybe have underlying issues? Or maybe after going through all this, you didn't notice anything abnormal. Maybe you think your child's development is fine, but you want to make sure. So what can we do with this information? Well, remember when I said that Here Center has a special community service for you? Well, we want to give you peace of mind. At Here Center, as much as we love to help others in our clinic, we want to extend that help outwards to those in our community. So, since 2004, we have offered free pediatric speech and hearing screenings to those in our community, and today we're offering this service to you. So even if you're in the future looking back at this video, this still will apply. We will offer this free pediatric speech and hearing screening for as long as we can. Okay, so I'm editing the video and I wanted to make a correction because I made a mistake. Here Center is not offering free pediatric hearing screenings because We do not have the means to do it virtually, and we will not be doing any in-person screening. So please watch our service video, part 3, for more information about what we're doing instead of the hearing screenings for children. Thank you. So yes, if you think your child might have issues with speech, language, or hearing, we are providing a free screening to you. And all you need to do for this simple pass-fail test is just send me an email at josephinesariel@hearcenter.org or email at info@hearcenter. We'll take the information of your child, the situation, your thoughts and concerns, and we can see if we can get a screening set up for them. Screenings are great. They're really quick. It's a simple pass-fail test, and if we find that something is wrong, we can discuss our options going forward. So maybe your child might need more evaluation, maybe they don't. So if you would like a second opinion, feel free to give us an email, get the screening scheduled, and we can see what we can do. Thanks for watching part 2. Here's our contact information, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or any of these contacts. We have a free Milestones PDF and some other speech resources to accompany this video, so just email us if you'd like it. The milestones we went over were not totally complete and maybe at times a little unclear, so we think these resources could be helpful for you. Again, let us know if you're interested in that free speech screening for your child via Zoom. We'd be happy to help you out with that. And lastly, subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. We will be uploading more presentation videos in the future. So on to part 3, and we hope you have a great day.